and also Andrea, who I've been working with. When she emailed me last month, with this invitation, I said, oh, absolutely, I would love to come speak to all of you fabulous women in appreciation of the work that you do on behalf of the community. And then before I begin, thank you, Kathy, Miss O'Malley, for a fabulous lunch. The chicken was outstanding, and I gotta say, you know your audience. I looked at the menu: salad, protein, and fries. And I don't know about you, but all the fries are out at my table. When we women get together, we're like, oh, the salad, do you want some fries for the table? Only if you eat some. I'll eat a few, then they're gone. So, thank you very much for that. Your staff is amazing. And it's always such a pleasure to be here at Gibson's. This is my happy place. I actually live across the street. And people always ask me, being in the restaurant business, what's your favorite restaurant? And without even blinking, I'm like, Gibson's. They've been doing it perfectly for 25 years, and after 4 restaurants of my own, they've achieved the one thing that is the hardest to do in any business, and that's consistency. And we come to Gibson's because we don't want to risk it. We know it's going to be good, and we know it's going to be fabulous. We know we're going to have a great time, every time we're here, and that's always been the case for me. So. Years old, and they're like, the only thing we request of you is that you learn about wine. So this was 1995 in California. Things are a little different now, but I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. And so I was sitting in these wine classes. It was actually one of the gentlemen that was running the wine program was studying to become a master sommelier. And so he would have these incredible wine classes, and I would sit there and I'd smell the wine, and people are like, oh my God, do you get the peaches? Definitely peaches. I'm like, do they put peaches in the wine? Like, where are you getting peaches from? And there's one guy, Anthony, who was like a surfer, this is Monterey, Carmel, and he's like, dude, you get blueberries for days. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, I do not get blueberries. This smells like alcohol to me. And so, but I'm also the type of person that if I don't get something, I keep working at it. And I remember one day I was drinking a glass of Chardonnay, and I'm like, oh my God, it tastes like pear, like canned Bartlett pears. Like, it was just this light bulb went off, and I got it. And it was so exciting. And so, but the other thing that was happening was this group of people at this restaurant were so into wine that it was like the thing that they bonded over. And so we were like bringing bottles and learning about wine and studying and tasting. And I became really hooked into it. And I was actually going to college at the same time. And I remember I was sitting in one of my chemistry classes, and I was reading a Wine Spectator. And I was sitting there, and I'm not even paying attention to the lecture. I'm just reading the Wine Spectator. And sort of this thing went off, and I was like, I think I want to become a sommelier. So I went to work that night. Back then. And so there are 3 things. I'm Indian, I'm a woman, and I'm young. I look like I'm barely old enough to drink. And the thing that people commented the most on was, wow, a female sommelier. Like, they were just shocked that I was a woman. I'm like, really? Not that I look like I'm 15 years old? Like, that's the thing you're doing? Like, okay. But, once I opened my mouth and I took care of them, I just never let their problem with me become my problem with me. Because for me, it was I can't control what other people see. I can only control what I think about myself and see about myself, and that was always very super important for me. If you don't create your schedule, the schedule is created for you. And it's being very intentional, being very deliberate of this is what I do. And then exercise, right? Exercise. For the longest time, exercise, I hated exercise. I hated it because I thought it was punishment for myself. For me, it was viewed as sort of like this negative thing. Now, exercise for me is a positive thing because it helps remove the stress. Last night I left work. We're on day 2 of restaurant week. I left work at 10 o'clock. I was in the pool at my gym at 10:15. I swam 10 laps. I did the sauna. I did the jacuzzi. I did the cold plunge, and then I went to bed. And a glass of Sauvignon Blanc would have been easier, but I wouldn't have been as fresh for you guys today, so you're welcome. meditation is very important, and that is, of course, that mindfulness. I speak to my therapist every week. She keeps coming back. I don't know why. I'm very grateful for Dr. Behringer. I love my therapist. And then finally, the hardest thing for me is this thing. This is the curse of the devil. Social media, TikTok, being on your phone. It's the curse of the devil. This is the thief of joy. But we need it, but we have to learn how to manage it. And I was talking about, particularly with this, and it's not just young people. Like sometimes you think, oh, young people, and they're on Instagram and this. It's getting into fights on Facebook, right? It's getting that sort of like, oh, they're on vacation, look at what they have, and this and that, and like, why don't I have that? This thing, if you have an opportunity, watch Frances Haugen's 3-hour testimony to Congress of how the algorithms manipulate us. It causes distress, it causes dissatisfaction, it creates division in families, it creates division in society, it starts wars, it starts massacres. It is not a tool for good, but again, we want to see pictures of our, grandchildren and our cousins and everybody, but it's just being mindful that you use it as a way that you need to use it rather than it feeding back, to sort of enrage to engage so that it can sell us advertisements so that we can buy more stuff we don't need, right? And it's just so important to be mindful of that.